England is a country with 56 million people. The capital, London, with nearly 9 million people, is an extremely vibrant, multicultural, cosmopolitan city. On the 31st night, December 2019, as usual, the residents of this beautiful place celebrated the dawn of 2020 with enthusiasm and hope. A month later, all that changed in a way that no one could imagine. This is the story of 2020 England. As a result of the COVID-19 outbreak in Wuhan, China, Health Secretary Matt Hancock informed the Parliament that 200 British citizens are now trapped in that city. On the 5th of March, the first death in the UK due to COVID-19 was confirmed. Then the Chancellor of Exchequer Rishi Sunak allocated 30 billion in measures to protect the economy from COVID-19 in his first budget. As things were getting bad, Prime Minister Boris Johnson requested people to work from home and to avoid pubs, clubs, restaurants and theatres. In another move, a £3.2 million emergency support package was allocated to help rough sleepers into accommodation in England. Around the same time, an emergency legislation was introduced to ban new evictions to protect the renters from the landlords. In March, the Chancellor of Exchequer announced the Job Retention Furlough Scheme to help pay 80% of wages to people to protect their jobs. Panic buying became a real issue in the country as UK shoppers started to stock up on all essential goods and items. So the major supermarkets began a process of recruiting 30,000 new staff. In April, the UK road traffic levels fell by 73%, the lowest since 1955. Streets which would have been packed with rush hour traffic were now absolutely deserted. Also, the first human trial of the corona vaccine started in Oxford. In May, the new car sales in England were down by 97%, the lowest number since 1946. In a bid to further stop the spread of the disease, it became mandatory for people to wear the mask on public transport and in all shops. In June, travelers arriving to the UK were told to quarantine for 14 days. By the start of July, the lockdown restrictions were eased, so the pubs, cafes, and the restaurants were allowed to reopen. The Chancellor also announced that there would be a temporary cut in stamp duty to 0% for the first-time home buyers to boost the housing market. In August, the government's Eat Out to Help Out scheme was launched, and almost all food outlets offered 50% discounts to boost the economy. After the school's grading system were hit with massive controversy and inaccurate results, A-level and GCSE results in England were changed to teachers' assessments. By mid-September, a second wave of coronavirus was confirmed and restrictions were once again put into place. Gatherings of more than 6 people were banned, and bars and restaurants were forced to close by 10 p.m. In November, the government announced that there would be an easing of restrictions over the Christmas period for people to be with their families. In December, the UK's first dose of Pfizer vaccine was administered to a UK grandmother in Coventry. On the 19th of December, a new variant of COVID-19, which is 70% more transmissible, was confirmed by the Prime Minister. Following this, another new set of restrictions for Christmas were announced. By the third week in December, over 700,000 people have now received their first vaccine for COVID-19.